Hello and welcome to a Sober James Addiction Recovery live stream where we talk about addiction, recovery, and everything in between. My name is James and I'm a grateful recovering addict. Tonight, WTF is homeostasis and HTF, does it help us in addiction recovery? We're going to cover homeostasis and what it is. I can tell you basically it's the brain's ability to balance the mind, body, and soul. But, as per usual, we'll consult our new Lord and Savior, AI. Let's get it popping. For those of you who are new here, this is my channel, Sober James. Subscribe and hit notifications on, because I go live often with addiction recovery topics like this one. Homeostasis. First of all, what it is. Homeostasis is your body's built-in system for keeping things balanced and stable, even when the environment changes. Think of it like your body's internal thermostat, keeping your body temperature around 98.6 Fahrenheit, balancing blood sugar, hydration, hormones, brain chemicals, regulating mood, sleep, hunger, and stress. This concept comes from physiology and is closely related to the field of neuroscience and the regulatory role of the hypothalamus in the brain. Why it matters for addiction recovery? Well, let's get into it. But first, who do we got on the stream? Feel free to chat in the chat box. Somebody holler if you hear me. Make sure my chat box is on point. Why does homeostasis matter for addiction recovery? Addiction basically hijacks your brain's homeostasis. Homeostasis? Homeostasis. Drugs or alcohol artificially... First of all, alcohol is a drug, okay? It's the most deadly drug. Don't get it twisted. Drugs like alcohol artificially spike brain chemicals like dopamine, the reward chemical. Over time, the brain tries to rebalance by reducing its natural production or sensitivity. This is part of the brain's reward pathway involving the nucleus accumbens. What does this mean? At first, substances feel amazing. I think all of us have experience with that. Later, they feel normal. Without them, you feel worse than normal. That imbalance is why withdrawal and cravings happen. Your brain is basically saying, my balance got reset. I need time to recalibrate, my dude. Or my lady. Hey, we got one. Tall artist hiker 529. I'm new, says Tall Hiker. Hi James, rock on. Hello Tall Hiker. Tall Artist Hiker. I have a feeling I know you. IRL, or in real life if you're a millennial. What do you know about homeostasis, Tall Artist? Well, let me tell you my experience. I'm a recovering addict. I've been recovering since 2007. I've spent my life with a drug of choice, alcohol, but I've experimented with the whole spectrum of drugs. I'm an addict. If it feels good, I want 7. I'm sure you can relate. What's up, Richard? Rich Snyder. Do I know you as well? What y'all know about this homeostasis? I just learned this word today. It's the brain's ability to rebalance. Let's hear more about what AI, our Lord and Savior, says. How homeostasis helps you recover, ChatGPT says. The good news, the brain is incredibly adaptable, called neuroplasticity. When substances stop entering your system, your brain slowly rebuilds its natural balance. Things that help restore homeostasis: sleep. Deep sleep resets neurotransmitters and hormones. We all love a good snooze. Exercise. Activities like aerobic exercise naturally boost dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins. Nutrition. Balanced meals stabilize blood sugar and support brain chemistry. Stress regulation, like meditation, reduce cortisol and calm the nervous system. And time. Time takes time sometimes in recovery. The biggest factor, your brain gradually resensitizes to normal rewards like music, conversation, nature, and purpose. What y'all think about that? Marty, yeah, I see you, Marty. I just didn't want to blow up your spot. Thanks for the support, Marty. And thanks for subscribing. You want to see check it out. How you like that? That's Jack Nicholson. No doubt a fellow journeyer in the realm of recreational substances. Rich says, for drugs like meth, that's the worst part of withdrawal, is your body not being in balance with itself. I got a new job, and today at my job, during training, I learned that meth addicts, addicts who have their drug of choice of meth rarely have other drugs of choice, whereas alcoholics like myself follow up with benzos, opiates. I'm not big on meth or coke or anything like that. Cocaine addicts might like other drugs as well, but meth addicts rarely like other drugs. I mean, maybe you like other drugs, but is that true, Rich? Rich also says the horrible pain of withdrawal from amphetamines is the lack of homeostasis in the body. Yo, we were just talking about that today at this training session. For all my friends and fam on here, I'm now on my third day in a very promising, just a blessing out of left field. I got a job as an alumni coordinator at the Recovery Centers of America, which is a prominent addiction treatment facilities. They have 13 locations up and down the East Coast. As you guys know, I'm in Maryland. Yes, it's true, says Rich. Methamphetamine addicts rarely go for other substances. That's interesting. The key recovery insight involving homeostasis. Early sobriety can feel flat or miserable, not because life actually sucks, but because your homeostasis hasn't reset yet. With consistency, the brain eventually returns to a healthier baseline where normal life feels rewarding again. I'm in this state. Actually, some people call this the pink cloud. I'm experiencing another pink cloud in my recovery journey. I've experienced them before. In early recovery, this can happen from just everything coming back when you put down your drug of choice. You quit drinking, you quit smoking meth, you go through the detox, the withdrawal, you start recovering. Now, I go to 12-step recovery groups, AA, and I work the 12 steps. But even just stopping your drug of choice or your addiction, your compulsive addictive behavior, many things start coming back into your life. Money, health, appetite, sex drive, people, family, friends, your eyesight, sleep. So you start experiencing what is lovingly called in the rooms the pink cloud. Now this can be a good thing and a bad thing. I've done live streams on it. You can Google Sober James pink cloud. But the pink cloud is just, life is great. And it can be dangerous in recovery if you're not working a program, because we addicts like highs, and every high comes with a low. So pink clouds, unfortunately, don't last forever, although I've tried, and I'm sure you have too. Many people in recovery describe this as color slowly coming back into the world. A simple way to remember it: addiction equals artificial chemical spikes. Recovery, letting the brain rebalance. Your body wants equilibrium. Homeostasis means it's literally designed to heal. What y'all think about that? Marty says, sleep, I need more of it. Marty, we talked about Remron. I hope you find success with it like I have. More news on me. And I should remember to do a live stream about this, and maybe I'll do it soon. Not maybe, I will do this soon. Non-mind altering substances like fluoxetine or Prozac, antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications. These can greatly assist in recovery from addiction, because we were all self-medicating. We were restless, irritable, discontent. So we go for that booze, we go for that coke, we go for that drug. What up, Hot Boy Ryan? I'm on third day, Hot Boy Ryan says. No alcohol, and plan on quitting forever and ever. An honorable plan. Rich says, my issue was hit the bottle and go straight to the rock. That's why I don't drink anymore as well. Yeah, bro. Alcohol is the true gateway drug. That's what they don't want you to know. They tried to make us think it was weed, but every time I drank, I just went for more drugs and more chaos. More seeking homeostasis. So check this out. I went on to ask ChatGPT about dopamine homeostasis. Dopamine homeostasis means your brain trying to keep dopamine levels balanced over time. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter strongly involved in motivation, reward, and learning within the field of neuroscience. Your brain naturally tries to keep dopamine in a healthy middle range, not too high, not too low. Now, what addiction does to it? Well, first of all, how it works. Your reward system, especially the nucleus accumbens and the ventral tegmental area, release dopamine when something good happens. Examples: eating good food, social connection, achieving goals, exercise. This gives moderate dopamine increases when your brain returns to baseline. That return to baseline is dopamine homeostasis. What does addiction do to it? Substances and certain behaviors produce massive dopamine spikes compared to natural rewards. Examples include alcohol, stimulants, opioids, gambling, certain digital behaviors. When dopamine spikes repeatedly, the brain protects itself by reducing dopamine receptors and lowering baseline dopamine production. The result? Normal life feels boring. Drug use feels normal. Withdrawal feels awful. This state is sometimes called dopamine deficit. Just lost my audio. Oh, I don't like this. Oh no, okay, so I'm gonna turn the music off. Sometimes the sound gets weird. My bad. How's that? Marty says alcohol was always there. Other substances were icing on the cake. I hear that. Some alcoholics like Coke because you can stay drunk longer. But what this is saying is, with all those stimulants, with all those dopamine highs, the brain closes off or reduces dopamine receptors. Why early sobriety feels so weird. After quitting, your brain hasn't recalibrated yet. You may feel flat, unmotivated, anxious, unable to enjoy things. Your dopamine system is basically rebuilding sensitivity. This recovery process is tied to the brain's ability to adapt, known as neuroplasticity. How dopamine homeostasis returns? Well, the brain slowly resets when you remove the artificial spikes. Exercise, sunlight and sleep, achievable goals, social connection. We've all heard that connection is the opposite of addiction. That might be the reason why. These are natural dopamine stimulators. Natural. The dopamine seesaw. Huge pleasure spike. Brain compensates. Long dopamine dip. You guys have heard of the dopamine, some people, it was trending a minute ago, dopamine fasting. I do this. You guys might know that I give up things, vices, social media. Sometimes I'll give up nicotine. I'm trying to regulate it's essentially neurotransmitter regulatory system, and it works. Regular diet, exercise, diet and exercise. Once dopamine homeostasis returns, normal life rewards start working again. Music feels better. Food tastes better. Conversations feel meaningful. Motivation comes back. This is why long-term sobriety often feels better than active addiction, even though early recovery can feel rough. This is true. I have been on, not a pink cloud, but cloud 9. I've been blown away. I'm a little over 2 years away from my last drink or deadly drug, and I feel great. Things have been happening. Now, some of you guys might flinch at the word God. I used to. But 2 years ago, I was desperate enough to ask a sponsor how he found God. He was 15 years sober. He was an atheist. God is mentioned in the 3rd step of Alcoholics Anonymous. Made a decision to turn our will and our life over to the care of God as we understand Him. And also the 11th step, sought through prayer and meditation to maintain essentially our conscious contact with God, praying only for His will for us and the power to carry that out. So addiction is a spiritual malady, it's been suggested in the Big Book, and the 12 steps are a spiritual solution. The short version: addiction, dopamine roller coaster. Recovery, letting the brain stabilize again. Your brain isn't broken, it's recalibrating. Rich says definitely a higher power exists. Sorry about the sound, guys. I've been doing this thing since 2018, and I've had sound problems intermittently throughout the entire journey. But we still like to have fun. Thanks for coming out. I took a hiatus from the streaming, and the algorithm recognized it, and now it's punishing me by not suggesting my videos. But if I can reach if one person gets help tonight, if one person can relate to anything that I say tonight, it was all worth it. Bombshell says, really struggling. Been at 25 units, tapering down 10% daily, awaiting a home detox, just barely holding food down and such. Parents kind of trying to hide alcohol and stuff. Bombshell, I feel for you. I've been there. 25 units. I'm guessing you're a beer drinker. That's equivalent to 25 shots of liquor. How old are you, Bombshell? Mike Tucker in the house. Homeostasis is why I can't seem to lose weight. The body's always fighting for homeostasis. Mike Tucker, you're just a plain old homo. Bombshell, can't hold food down at the moment. Taking B1, drinking electrolytes, not too much or I'll overdo the sodium, etc. Bombshell, you sound like you're on the right track. But addiction is a power greater than us, and we can't do it alone. Bombshell is 27. Happens to be the age that a lot of addicts have kicked the bucket. Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Amy Winehouse. Somebody name some more. Well, Mike Tucker, you got a silver tongue as well, you devil. A butter knife, you see? You know, I carry a knife on me, buddy, but only in case there's cake. Bombshell says I imagine you're a female, strong cider, 8.2. So you're drinking 25, 8.2% strong ciders. Your tolerance, I don't know what is up with the sound. I really don't. And I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it so much. I hope you're not just effing with me. No, Rich, you're probably not. Bombshell says 10 years of this and did a rehab 3 years ago. Relapsed and just spiraled back into the same position. Got a job, but need to juggle work with it all. You may need inpatient treatment, Bombshell. Hot Boy Ryan says, not muted for me this time. Your stream is getting fucked with. Well, who the hell knows? It's all in God's hands. Some of these are, you know, just like life, Sober James can be a hit or miss sometimes. Tonight my sound might be effed up. Rich says, I'm going to leave and come back to see if that helps the audio issue. I have a feeling it's not me. It's not you, it's me. But my personal experience with this new word that I just learned today and barely can pronounce, homeostasis, is just that. The longer I am sober from alcohol and other deadly drugs, the more my brain can do its natural job of balancing everything from my temperature to my concentration, to my appetite, to my sex drive, to my energy levels, to my motivation, to my ability to enjoy things like coffee and vapes. Now, caffeine is a dopamine stimulant, and nicotine is a dopamine stimulant as well. I'm no saint. Mike Uzo says it's much easier to stay sober with some of the anti-anxiety meds they have. I was over a year sober and still cannot sleep well without them. I've recently started a Remron regimen. A Remron regimen. This Remron regimen that I've now repeatedly, I believe it's called mirtazapine. It's an anti-anxiety medication you take before you go to bed, and it makes you sleepy and apparently hungry for full sleeves of Oreos and milk in this guy's experience. But as it metabolizes to the body, you know, over the course of 30 days or so, I have noticed less and less anxiety. Anxiety has been a huge problem in my life. Anxiety involves fear. Fear involves paranoia. Guess what they call liquid courage, and guess what my drug of choice was. In the big book it says, we alcoholics are full of 100 forms of fear. They call our drug liquid courage. Why do you think we reach for it? Yes, Mike Tucker. gabapentin is not an opioid or a benzo, but it will help you sleep. In my opinion, that's half the battle. Yeah, I detoxed off of gabapentin one time. I took 2 of them, and I felt relaxed and sleepy. And it felt so good that I started taking them by the handfuls. And I got super shaky, and then I learned later you can actually OD on the stuff. Hot Boy Ryan says, I think pharmaceuticals should be temporary and work to get off when you can. My sponsor says, beware of any sentence that starts with, I think. So there's one for you. And Ryan, I was just being hard on you earlier. Good for you for staying away from the booze for 3 days. I was being an asshole, but what I was trying to say was, I think we can all agree here that we have all sworn off booze forever and picked it up again. The first step is we admitted we were powerless over alcohol and our lives had become unmanageable. Ryan, we don't have the power to kick booze without help. The help that I have found sustainably successful is the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous and the fellowship and the whole program in general. We were self-medicating. Alcohol is a medicine. The only difference between a medicine and a abused drug is the dosage and the addict taking it. Benzos. Let's talk about benzos. I used to eat benzos by the bars. A couple of bars of Xanax, some Kalanis. Back when you can snort them, I would do that. Recently, so I've been sober for 2 years. Recently, I've been aggressively treating my anxiety with therapy, research, psychotherapy, talking it out, using the 12 steps. But I've also recently tried to see how I do with some clonazepam, which are not Klondike bars. We were just talking about it. Clonazepam is, you know what it is. It's a benzo. Now, for a minute, I was eating them as prescribed therapeutically, and it helped me through a really tough, anxious time. Coupled with Remron, I felt good. Now, I really thought that I could take them as prescribed, and I was finally able to resist the cunning, baffling, and powerful urge to eat more to feel good, but I found myself eating more. So I confirmed that I am powerless over that urge. Addiction is obsession coupled with a phenomenon of craving, and it doesn't go away. It is a progressive disease that can be only treated one day at a time. So the Kalanis are out, or at least they will be when I'm done. I'm not going to refill them. But that's my point. I did stop taking too many of them. And that's the truth, because, well, I have tools of recovery. I've played the tape through. You know what happens when you eat 6 milligrams of a benzodiazepine? No, you don't, because you wake up about a week later. You don't know what happens when you eat 6 milligrams of benzodiazepine. You wake up a week later and your wallet is bulging with $2 bills, and the only place in town that hands out $2 bills is a strip club. So you go outside to get in your car to get more beer, but you realize your car's not there. Your phone rings. It's your buddy Bobby, and he says, "Hey, I just passed Platinum Plus on 385, and in broad daylight saw one car parked in the parking lot, and that car was my Chevrolet HHR." I didn't remember anything. I had blacked out on benzodiazepines. So what is playing the tape through? At a time like this, when I'm tempted to take more benzos than prescribed, I play the tape through to that time I blacked out for like a whole week. Dopaminergic. Gambling, socializing. Bombshell says, when I went to rehab, they kind of just drugged me up super hard on olanzapine, psychosis, and got stuck on it. Turned me into a zombie and blunted all the dopamine receptors. Felt like empty. Zero feels. The problem with zero feels is, here's why we don't grow when we're in active addiction. When I'm drunk, when I'm drinking every day, that is my solution to any of my problems. I don't have to feel my problems. I don't have to feel anxious. Anxiety, fear, these are natural instincts. These are natural feelings, natural body and mind defenses that indicate that there's a problem. If I had no fear, if I was doped up, if I was zanied out on the Serengeti, and I had like 2 bars of Xanax in me, I wouldn't have a fear of a lion, and I would get my head ripped off and disemboweled and eaten. So fear has its purpose. The only problem is, in the alcoholic, these instincts run wild. It's described in the 12 and 12 that instincts for social acceptance. Humans have an instinct to be accepted by their fellows. In the alcoholic, this might go haywire. Another instinct would be financial security, sexual instincts, and that is all explained in the 12 and 12. But when we try to chase those instincts, we use our drug of choice, and our homeostasis gets, I guess, imbalanced would be the word. Marty says, Bombshell, I was 28 when I got sober. You can do it a day at a time. James has a point. Inpatient treatment might be a safe start. Sometimes we have to go to treatment. First comes detox. There's a couple drugs you can die from withdrawal. The first one is alcohol. You can die from alcohol withdrawal. You can die from benzodiazepine withdrawal. I had a grand mal seizure on alcohol and benzo withdrawal. I tell that story on this channel. You can just look up Sober James seizure. Maybe it's just only feeling the bad things, no pleasures or something. Temporarily, I hope. Yes, as we just discussed, early recovery is like being flat. Just kind of blah. It's your body trying to rebalance. Homeostasis trying to rebalance. No pleasure. Long-term withdrawal syndrome that just goes on for so long. was what led to my relapse. Bombshell says, yes, relapse is statistically more likely to happen in early recovery because of this exact reason. Homeostasis, it has not had the time to recover yet, to balance. So those of you in early recovery like you, Ryan, run, don't walk to an AA meeting. Run, don't walk to an AA meeting. Go in there and say, I can't stop drinking. I have a desire to stop drinking. What do I do? Be honest, open, and willing to the suggestions, and we do recover. The 12-step program of Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, all kinds of other vices can be dealt with the 12-step program. The 12 steps is a program that facilitates a personality change necessary for recovery from addiction. So Ryan, run, don't walk to an AA meeting. And stay. Go to AA and stay. So let's recap before this Remron has me down in Oreos by the doubles. Why early sobriety feels so weird? After quitting, your brain hasn't recalibrated yet. You might feel flat, unmotivated, anxious, unable to enjoy things. How it returns, homeostasis. The brain slowly resets when you remove the artificial spikes. Try some exercise. Activities like aerobic exercise increase dopamine and dopamine receptor sensitivity. Get some sunlight. Sleep, rest, take it easy. Do some achievable goals. Make your bed is one that's been suggested in psychological circles forever. Be a person that makes your bed first thing in the morning. Find someone you trust and connect with and talk it out. And be patient, because homeostasis, recovery, time takes time sometimes. So that is the word of the day, homeostasis. Thank you for joining me for another addiction recovery live stream. I'm about to go crush some Oreos and go to sleep. Thank you, Rich, Bombshell, Ryan, Marty. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be streaming, and in this new position, this new job, they're asking me to set up a podcast there too. Maybe I can link them both. Maybe I can collaborate, do the damn thing on both fronts. Bombshell, my heart goes out to you. You too, Ryan. For now, just hang in there one day at a time. And consider being open and willing to try something different. The one thing that got me sober was the fact that my shit wasn't working. And I'm not talking about being constipated. I'm talking about my ideas, my methods to stop drinking weren't working. So I had to be open to another method. That method was Alcoholics Anonymous. I highly suggest you give it a look. AA.org is a good way to get started. All right, y'all. I'll see you next time. And until then, keep it clean, keep it real, and keep doing this damn thing. Peace.